Everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be watching the Apothecary Diaries, the last 2 episodes of the season, episodes 23 and 24. I don't know what's going to happen in these last 2 episodes because they've been very unpredictable for me in regard to where it's all going. There's not some crazy endgame arc, at least to me anyway. I'm trying to figure out what Lachan's goal is. I kind of feel like that's the end game for me because I don't know what his past is with Maomao in regards to how he failed her, why she doesn't like him specifically, how all that stuff went down. So obviously there's a real reason there, but we haven't been told what that is yet. And I've been going on this theory that I feel like Lachan is a misunderstood character. I feel like perhaps he's better than what he's leading on or what the show is leading on. That's my current theory, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit simpler than that and it's just really that he's just a bad guy. But I'm hoping perhaps it's something a bit more complex than that and maybe he made mistakes in the past and he's trying to make up for those things. So that's kind of where I'm at with theories right now. Anyway, before we dive on into this, guys, feel free to check out my memberships. You get early access to episodes like these and also my full reactions too. Jesus Christ. This is a good start. So like Maomao's been treating her. Does Maomao know? Like I feel like that lady is her mother.
断る理由などなかろう。可愛い娘の頼みとあらば。
Oh, so they're just up front with all this.
構いません。ですが雇用中の身ですので、年季が明けた後になりますが。
So interesting. There's an expiration to that contract. I didn't know that.
匂いからしてきつめの蒸留酒か。
She gonna poison one?
たとえどんな理由があろうとも、試合を放棄したら負けということでお願いします。よろしいですか?
That's a lot of rules. I don't know what's going on. Oh, she lost. Okay. I wonder though, if Maomao loses enough, would Lachan force her to drink?
これで2連敗だ。シャンチーで負けなしの軍師殿に挑むのだから、多少は心得があるのかと思いきや。
In other words, is Lachan, would he risk Maomao's life like that? Or would he just forfeit if he pushes her to that extent?
そのうち一つでも味が違えば、娘に毒が及ばないとわかるだろう。
I also wonder if Maomao has a resistance to the poison. Oh, maybe he just can't handle that level of a dose.
酔っているだけのようです。
は？
稽古なんですよ、この人。
Oh.
いつもジュースばかりで酒を飲むのは見たことがないな。ではさっき入れた液体は？
アルコールです。
Obviously that was a misdirect, but I was definitely fooled by all that.
次第に人の顔が駒に見えるようになった。おじきが社に見えたところ。
So he uses it as a like a coping mechanism.
女の名はフォンシェン。技能で負けなしの技女と
Function.
軍部で負けなしの自分。
I don't think I've ever even heard that name before.
こんなに負けたのはいつ以来だ？ああ。人とはこういう顔をしているのか。
She did beat him. I figured that.
母はおりません。私を産んだ女ならいますが、花町では妓女は母になれませんので。
Is this the same woman that's sick over at the brothel that Maomao's been treating?
武官として出世したものの、異母兄弟に後継ぎの立場を奪われた自分には、到底太刀打ちできる額ではなかった。
Then this might lead to the pregnancy.
あなたが勝てたら好きなものを与えましょう。私が勝てたら好きなものをいただきましょう。
This is not where I thought this episode was going to go at all. But the story definitely needed to be told though.
フォンシェンからは甘い言葉も何もなかった。自分もそんな柄ではなく、 ある意味似た者同士の二人だった。
So they didn't even finish the game. That has to be the same lady that's sick, right? I can't remember her face for whatever reason.
家を出てしばし遊学しろ。
留学？私も半年ほどで戻れるだろうと。
Oh, maybe this is why he wasn't there in the first part of Maomao's life?
違う。これは指切り。そんな呪いが流行っているのは知っていた。
Oh, that's crazy.
少し考えれば分かったはずだ。身受けの破談。その原因はフォンシェンの腹には。
Oh, okay. I figured that encounter is when she got pregnant. But they're saying that she's gone. But is that entirely true, though?
メイメイは昔フォンシェンの下でカムロをしていた。メイメイとはよく遊んでやった。
It's so weird seeing her head look like that. So he's not a bad guy. It's what I thought. Just unlucky. He got sent away. He had to go. Yeah, I figured he wasn't a bad guy, but I wasn't gonna be surprised if he just made some past mistakes, you know, and I don't know if anyone else can look at this with the perspective that he made some mistakes in the past anyway, but it wasn't his decision to leave. It wasn't his intention to leave either. He seemed to be legitimately in love, and yeah, he's just trying to be in his daughter's life in some way, but I understand Maomao's perspective too. It's not her fault either that any of that happened, but she has to have some kind of chip on her shoulder about, you know, not having him around, you know, at least in the first stage of her life and stuff. So I don't know, like it seems like he's been wanting to be present in her life, and she just wasn't wanting to go along with that. But I understand if it's rough there, or it's difficult for Maomao to bond with him in some sort of fatherly way because she has her adoptive father that she probably looks at more as her actual father. It's just weird because her adoptive father seems very like emotionless, and like he's there, he seems like a nice person, but he's not, I don't know, there's just not a whole lot there at the same time to nurture that side of her, whereas I feel like Lachan would be that for her. Like he actually has personality, and you know that could have been something that Maomao could have rubbed off on easily and developed that side of her a little bit more too. But okay, cool, we got the backstory then. I wonder if there's any more to that. But again, like I wonder if, I assume that's who that is that Maomao was taking care of, that was playing with the go pieces. Like it has to be. It's just too much of a coincidence to have someone. So maybe they're just being protective of her and just like never told him. But I wonder if he knows now if she's there. So still a little more information that's being held from us. I definitely want to see what happens here in this last episode. Here we are, final episode. Here we go.
なら早くこっちへ来な。好きなのを選ばせてやるよ。
やれやれ。
We're going for Maymay though, right?
どんなに着飾った儀仗もご意志にしか見えない。それならばよくしてくれたメイメイに報いてもいいのかもしれない。
It's weird that Maomao's not telling him who to pick.
選ぶならちゃんと選んでくださいね。
Oh, are they gonna... Oh my god.
メイメイ、勝手に開けるんじゃないよ。何やってんだい。
So he didn't know this whole time.
枯れても美しい花。
That's what Maomao was trying to tell him. Wow. This was not in my list of things I thought was gonna happen.
さっさと向こうで議長を選ぶんだよ。
そうだな。選ばないとな。
聞いてんのかい。
I think we know who he's gonna pick.
この女で頼む。
I never noticed that she was missing a finger. Was that detail shown in previous episodes?
こうやろう。
That's kind of hitting hard.
来たか。
That is a bit cruel that she kept that from him this whole time. But I understand she was just being protective.
恨んじゃいません。こちらとしてはうまく命中させてくれたおかげでここにいますので。
他に言い方はないのか。
本当のことです。
Oh, I was thinking that too.
皆同じような顔に見えるそうです。
それは気の毒だな。
ええ。
Except for Maomao.
腹立たしいことに面倒くさがりで自分では動かないんです。
So very talented but lazy. Those are often paired together when it comes to people.
敵にしない方がいいでしょうね。
わかった。
Things are starting to connect now. The whole picture is kind of coming together.
いいマオマオ。私が見受けされるときはちゃんと踊るのよ。
Maomao needs a happy ending too, though. Hey, it's the intro. I will say every time Maomao dresses up differently, she just looks gorgeous every single time she does. And she's actually had a number of different looks too, which is also interesting. And I bet you she learned all of this from the other courtesans. Is Jinji watching?
案外覚えているもんだな。
Mhm. Oh no. Save her, please. Okay.
親切な衛兵がお前の顔を知っていて、こちらに話を通してきたんだ。
This crazy girl.
ついでに休暇届を出された。10日は休むつもりでいるらしい。
実に迷惑ですね。
They keep giving him so much shade. Now that I know his whole backstory, I'm very empathetic of him.
女の母たる記憶はない。今あるのは歪んだ小指だけだ。
That's crazy about the fingers and stuff.
ジンス下ろしてください。
傷口が広がるだろう。
He's like, I got you, baby.
こんな時に申し訳ないのですが、ずっと言いそびれていたことがありました。
どうした？急に改まって。
I love you.
ジンス様。ご応募ください。
I knew it was gonna be a joke. Yeah.
まさか用意してないのですか？
So, assassination, we're not gonna figure out that stuff.
マオマオの物語は始まったばかり。次はどんな事件に巻き込まれるのか。
Tune in for next season. Not at all where I thought those last two episodes were gonna go, other than maybe getting like the backstory for Lachan and everything. I didn't think it was gonna happen the way it did at all. I understand where the brothel was coming from when they were protecting Fengxian from Lachan. It's not like they would have known why he disappeared, so you know it's gonna look the way it is. And I guess they're just trying to do what was best for her, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you could have done something sooner with that, you know, having him believe that she just wasn't there anymore, kind of cruel. So I don't know. I can really understand both sides. I think some communication would clear up a lot of things. Realistically, I understand though, if you can't make two parties communicate, then nothing's ever going to get done. So it's not completely unrealistic that no progress is going to get made between the two parties, you know, over that long period of time. So I'm glad it happened at all. That whole moment when he finally got to see her again, that really was probably the most emotional I've gotten with this show, was right there. Did not think it would have been over something related to him, but I'm glad I was able to kind of guess right that Lachan was actually a good person, because I just noticed, I was like, he just, you know, I know we're framing him a certain way, but if then you were to ever ask me like, okay, where's the proof that he's a bad person? Like what incidents, like what situations was he a bad person in? And if you sat there and thought about it, there really wasn't anything. It was just, he kind of came across like a little scummy, but he wasn't really doing anything. He was just appearing that way. And then we also thought that he was drinking, wine the whole time, but he wasn't. He's drinking juice. So he doesn't even drink. For the most part, he's pretty straight edge. I'm surprised we didn't really conclude the whole assassination thing. We just kind of acknowledged that there was an attempt, and we don't know who. I think even if Lachan wasn't the one to do it, because we don't have proof of that either necessarily, I believe answers will be found in that direction. But now I have my answer for where season 2 is gonna go, because maybe that stuff will be revealed in season 2. But I guess that would be just like this show, to have that in the formula, to where we have all these little details, these little hints, pieces of evidence, and they're not going to be relevant until 5 episodes later. Do you remember that blade of grass that was looking to the left? Well, that's the murder weapon. But yeah, this show has been a trip for sure. It was exercising muscles in my brain I didn't think I'd have to use. It was really hard to pinpoint where the show was going a good number of times. There were times where I felt like I was overthinking things, and then there were definitely times where I wasn't thinking about certain details at all. So it was just really hard to lock down the show and figure out what its formula was, or what it was thinking, where it was wanting to go. Just so many little details. It's very OCD, this show. You would think I would be able to latch onto those things a bit better because of that, but nope, not really. I feel like I only had a good idea of what was going on in certain situations maybe twice. Maybe twice. Everything else was kind of good misdirect, or I just didn't really have a good idea at all of where it was going. I tend to like to ride the wave with things. Even if a show is trying to get me to think ahead and try to make me guess, I tend to just like to ride the wave of the show and let it surprise me when it feels like it. And that way I can feel the full effect of it. I like feeling the full emotion that shows want me to feel, even if it's been kind of spoon-fed to me a little bit. It would just have to be written badly for me to not be able to allow it to do that for me. But luckily, as of late, everyone's been picking good shows for me, so I feel like I've been able to do that for the most part. Really fun show. I really love Maomao. I think Jinchi is a good contrast to her. I feel like they're back and forth, and their tension isn't super cookie cutter compared to other shows that may have that dynamic where that's kind of the big draw, is like, are they ever going to get together? This show doesn't even really make you desire that on a constant basis. That can kind of get annoying with other shows. Everything is hinging upon that, and they may surround it with story elements that are interesting, but ultimately those shows really want you to invest in, are they or are they not going to get together? And here I kind of feel like this show has enough distractions to where I don't want that constantly. And then when it ends up wanting to tease it, I don't feel so let down when they don't follow through with it, because it's not really like a huge desire I have on my list. I'm fine with them having the dynamic that they have. And yeah, I see that they're attracted to each other, but I also see that they're not ready for that yet. So I think that's partially why I'm okay with the teases, and like, it's not gonna happen in those moments, so I'm not really let down by them. So for right now, I'm fine with them being in the relationship that they're in, whatever you want to call that. But yeah, this was a very different journey than I've been on so far with all the other shows. There've been like some mysteries, Oshinoko had a little bit of that mystery aspect, but this kind of leaned a lot more towards the medicinal side. So this was definitely different than anything we've done so far. I think if you had left it up to me and put on paper the general synopsis of the show, would I have gone for a show like this? I don't think I would have chosen a show like this off the top of my head, to be honest. But I'm glad we did go into this, because I ended up coming out the other side really liking characters. Like, I'm really gonna miss Maomao. I think she's a really great character. I really want to get a figure of her somewhere and put her up at my place somewhere. Like I said, Jinchi's great. There's a lot of supporting characters in this show that I think are worth mentioning. They're really fun, and again, not cookie cutter. They're not super typical. And the politics in the show too is interesting too. I mentioned very early on that I felt like fish out of water in regards to all this because of the setting. We're kind of in a country that's very much like China, so there's parallels there, and I'm very much not educated on how something like this would work in a situation within a palace in China, working with concubines and eunuchs and courtesans and apothecaries, emperors. Like, how does this all work together? So very different than what I'm used to watching. We've recently finished up our anime poll, and the next journey we're going to be going on is Dandadan. So I'm really excited about that because that looks like something that's also very different than what we're usually doing. But thank you so much for voting on Apothecary Diaries. I really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to what they do with next season, and I will see you in the next anime journey. That's it from me, guys, and I'll see you next time.